Well, joining us right now is Bill Murphy of GATA. And Bill, it's always a pleasure to have you here. I'm reminded just how much I enjoy our conversations by the time that goes between them. But I have to tell you, I'm saddened every time I talk with you because prices keep dropping. So
you took the words right out of my mind. I was thinking, it's great to talk to Don when something's going right.
Well,
go ahead.
Well, the thing is I began to buy last month. I bought Silver Eagles and I bought some Maples and I bought this last weekend. My target was 17.5. We got there and now I'm buying. One thing that I want to get your take on with respect to gold and silver both. My target on gold is 1080. We're almost there. I noticed a lot of the sentiment right now. I'm actually getting people telling me I'm coming in too early on this. Can you talk a little bit about the sentiment that you're seeing out there, and am I too early?
Well, anybody who's been a bull like me, of course, is getting proved wrong. I've been talking about it's the worst acting markets I've ever seen in terms of silver the past many months, so I've been on top of that one, but you know, who the heck knows? I mean, Goldman Sachs had called for 1050, and it's going their way. It's the intervention. I've been writing about this for months. The intensity on a day-to-day basis of capping every rally and following every of these GATA rules that we look at, that they institute, the gold cartel, it's been going that way day after day after day. And the past week, I was just in New Orleans, and 8 trading days since Greenspan was there spoke positively about the gold price. It was 1231. From high to low, it dropped to $100.
Well, the Greenspan thing you bring up is very interesting because a lot of folks that brought that to my attention asked me what I thought that it meant, and my take on it was, if I hear a central banker talking positively about gold, it kind of gives me the willies. I'm not sure I really am comfortable with that. What is your take on Greenspan's comment?
Well, that's what happened. The willies were right in the sense of the price got slaughtered. Regarding the silver market, you know, I've been talking about this for months. I don't know if I even mentioned it last time. In the access market, which opens up following the COMEX close, when it reopens really at night after the COMEX close, it's come in lower 132 out of 136 times. And of course, the price has gone straight down. And then, you know, the open interest until yesterday was at all-time highs. The price $6-7 below the average cost of production for the average silver producer. You get a situation like that, everyone gets dragged out of the market, the open interest collapses, blah, blah, blah. No, the combination of those two things are historic, and I'm not exaggerating. It's never happened before in a market where you've got something like that. That is how much the bad guys want these prices down. To answer the question, who the heck knows if we're here or not? I mean, it's way oversold technically, even in a rigged market, but I look for clues. And there's not one clue that anything's changing. We got a U.S. jobs report tomorrow, which they've killed 90% of the time over the last 10 years.
I have a lot of people that are now starting to wonder what difference it makes what story you believe in. Because with the equity markets, one of the greatest rallies historically we've ever seen just took place, and nobody, and I mean nobody, can explain why. And with metals, I don't think anyone anymore, even if you believe the stories that you're talking about, you can't with a straight face say they were a reason to buy at this point because they haven't panned out. Is there anything about the equities markets or the metals markets that's not absolutely phony?
Well, that's the whole point, and if anything, that's where right now it's one black thing after another from my world, our world, but in the sense of at least what GATA has presented to people and accumulated over the years, and many of our colleagues have come up with, the markets are all rigged. It's all propped up by the money and the different machines and the money and power and the big banks. And that's why the stock market, it just goes up and up and up, and gold goes down and down and down. The fundamentals mean nothing for gold and silver. There's a really good shot this whole thing's going to blow up, and everything will take a juxtaposition down the road. And at least when you follow someone like myself or my colleagues or other people that think this way, they talk about the phony markets, Eric Sprott's one of them, that this thing's going to blow up someday. So, you know, for month after month, it's in la-la land, and then everything reverses.
When I hear someone like you, and you've been looking at this longer and more in depth than anybody I know, when I hear you say that the fundamentals do not matter. And when I hear you say these markets are rigged, which to a certain extent I agree with you about, when I hear that, it begs the question, then why wade into that market? Why should I have been buying in the last week? In other words, why should I put my money to work in something that you, GATA chairman, just told me is rigged and fundamentals don't matter?
Well, that's a great question, and the answer, if I might say, is pretty simple. Nothing matters till it does. What we're talking about changes overnight, and everything that are being, for example, we will say that the gold cartel is taking silver and gold down. I mean, for example, they have this big quantitative easing in Japan, and gold gets slaughtered. Mm-hmm. It's been slaughtered now for over the last 8 days. Well, this is, in other words, and I would say that these are artificially low prices. It doesn't matter, and that everything changes overnight. And so, by someone like yourself that's been patient and buying in at certain levels, it'll pay off because it will change out of nowhere. And because it is the way it is, the up moves will be violent this time.
Yeah.
Because it's taking things out of context. I mean, it doesn't matter how much China buys this year or last year, it goes down. I mean, no matter what happens. But it's artificially too low, and they've got some agenda. I don't know what they're afraid of behind the scenes. But none of me and my colleagues that have been doing this for years have ever seen anything this intense all over the place.
Well, I think that the last time something like this happened was back in 1980. And then there was 30 years of going nowhere. But I will tell you, and this is something I've talked to my subscribers about, do not think we're going to see 30 years of going nowhere. That story is too easy. Now, the move down, it is what it is. But we're not going to have 30 years of what we did after 1980. And I think when the move up begins, I agree, like with what you're saying, the sharpness is going to surprise a lot of people. And I don't know why or how it's going to happen, what the catalyst will be. And I don't know if it happens overnight, but the move up 50 is going to be in the rearview mirror on silver and 2000 in the rearview mirror on gold.
And that's where I come from, of course. And of course, that's what I think's coming, and at the same time, you can't be too rah-rah in the short term because you lose credibility.
I would think credibility would be tied to a lot of things, except for the fact that you can't control the markets. So if someone follows you, I don't think Bill Murphy has a lack of credibility because Bill Murphy believes something and is researching it and looking to find answers. That's not where your credibility, in my opinion, doesn't come from that. I don't think you're losing credibility. I think that with the market as it is, a lot of people are beginning to question how long it goes, what's their strategy going to be, and what do they do next? Because it is a powerful thing to see these prices come down 70% on silver and 60% or so on gold. It is shocking, truly amazing.
And I talk to my good friend John Embry every day of Sprott Asset Management, and he says the same thing. He says, Bill, if you'd have told me 3 years ago this is what was going to happen, he would have said it was impossible.
That's right. I heard someone else today, a guy by the name of Woody O'Brien, who I've been friends with for many years, and he also said the same thing. He said, I would have told you it was impossible. When you get up every day and you realize that you're out there telling a story which you ultimately believe, now whether that ever happens or not, you do believe there will be sort of a reset and overnight things will change. When you talk with people on a daily basis, do you, on a personal level, just you and me talking here, what does it feel like knowing that you're gonna put it back on, you're gonna go back out there, put the smile on, you're gonna stand out there and tell that story? Does it ever wear on you emotionally? Is it something that you ever sometimes wonder, why am I doing this?
Oh, no, why am I doing, but wearing on you. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's just like, I talk to myself, you got to be kidding me. Get up at night, because I write a column every day, and I talk about the markets and gold and silver, my specialties, and what's going on. I said, at least I can explain it to people, but is it depressing? Oh, yeah. I mean, what the shares have done, the whole industry's in the worst depression, far worse than the bottom when gold was at 280. Far worse, because then nobody made any money. Now everyone's getting killed. I mean, the people who run conventions can't make any money at it anymore. There's no deals. The brokers can't make any money. The investors have been slaughtered. Actually, it's been a total waste of time since I started in terms of investing in the shares. In terms of the XAU, and the miners are worse. They're negative. We're lower than we were when I started 16 years ago.
Bill, you talk about credibility a moment ago, and every time I talk with you, I'll get someone that says, why do you have him on? He's just a perma bull and all that. These people, no, hold on. They need to just shut up and listen to you. You just said it was a waste of time to be in those things, and that is the most honest answer. I have not heard one gold bull be that straight with me. It's amazing. Thank you for that comment. And people that wonder why I have you on, that's the kind of stuff that you bring to the table. It's complete honesty. I want to talk about the miners for a moment, if I can. First Majestic, you may have heard, has
yeah, Keith Newmeyer. He's been to my place up I used to have in Vancouver. He's a great guy.
Okay, so he's sort of thrown the gauntlet down that sometime next year there's a plan. I don't know the exact. I've read some of it, but there's a plan to halt sales on a particular day, maybe do a press release or whatever. What's your take on that situation?
The industry is the dopiest one I could imagine. I mean, they all should rally around him and get together privately, and all of a sudden come out and restrict sales. Absolutely. I mean, that's what they would do in the oil industry, and I hear talk about that now. Do you hear about it from anybody outside of Keith? No.
I think that any leverage at all, and I think any sort of cartels, anything like that, I think it's all the problem. I think the long ETFs, SLV should be done away with. Sprott's ETF should be done away with. Any options and COMEX contracts that have leverage, get rid of all that. Let's get to a one-to-one price discovery. But in an environment where you believe one side is dealing from underneath the bottom of the deck, if you can do it, although it's not my preferential choice, I will tip my hat. If the guy wants to stop his sales and draw the line in the sand, I got to respect it. And OPEC's been doing it for how long? What, 30, 40 years? How long has OPEC been around?
Well, you know, and it's funny. My colleague Chris Powell, we don't agree on this one. I mean, he goes with you. I'm agreeing with Keith, and I think they should get together. And you got to fight fire with fire. I mean, how much do you got to get beat up? I mean, the average cost of production of silver, according to David Morgan, a good friend, is $23 an ounce for the average silver producer.
Well, then
look where it is.
They need to raise it. Listen, I'll tell you something. And here's something I've said, and people, when I say this on my videos, think I'm being sarcastic, but with you, I hope they'll hear I'm not sarcastic. These retailers need to stop these stupid sales, quit the free shipping, don't give any more discounts, and raise their prices. They need to start offering more. They need to start buying at higher prices, and the miners should ask for more. I mean, if you want to change things, quit dropping your prices. The industry is imploding, and if someone doesn't stop dropping prices, it's not going to get any better.
I couldn't agree more. I don't know how you do that, but in principle, I'm with you.
If someone's just coming to the table right now and they're saying, okay, reset everything, what are a couple reasons you can give people today to get involved in silver and gold? Just someone might want to go to a coin store, or go to eBay or a pawn shop or wherever they get it. Talk to someone new about why they should get involved.
It's probably the best opportunity of a lifetime to make a killing in a market. I mean, because of the artificially low prices. Gold producers can't make any money. Silver's $6, $7, $8 below the cost of production. This cannot last. It cannot stand, just based on those facts alone. And based on what God knows of what they've done to get the prices down here, you've got a potential of a lifetime. So whether it's this week, this month, a few months from now, these things are going to go bonkers. And you are going to see silver well above $100 an ounce, as you were mentioning earlier. And silver, I mean, gold's going to take out 2,000 and fly, and it's liable to happen just the opposite of what we're seeing now, when it's la-la land in the stock market and people in our world are being devastated. That's all going to change. And, of course, at the bottom, and whether we're here or not, we're close, I think, within reasonably close. That's the hardest time to move like that. And hopefully that people that are listening to you or new or haven't done anything will take advantage of it, because it's coming. You know, it doesn't have to happen tomorrow, but man, it's going to be spectacular. And I'm hoping the next time I'm fortunate to be on your podcast that things have totally changed.
Is there a point at which moving out of metals into something else would make sense?
Sure, especially if you get some sort of reset, which other people talk about. I really don't, but I mean, that's very possible for many reasons, which we can't get into here, but you know, things are just going to go bonkers. And the only thing I can say is the temptation, which I should have done myself, and I didn't, to get out too early on the next move up because of what just happened. You know the way the trading situation is. It's going to go nuts.
Yeah.
And then when you want to get out is when all of a sudden the public comes our way. And even in the move we've had the last 10, 15 years, The public never came our way. When the public comes our way, like it was in the NASDAQ in the turn of the century, that's when you get out. And just in the beginning of that, didn't get out. The shares in the market's so tiny. If the world ever realizes and knows what we know and they go into it, you won't be able to buy this stuff. And you will get something that will be extraordinary. That's when you want to start lightening up.
Bill, you just said something which, by the way, anyone listening, this is Bill Murphy, Chairman, GATA. If you don't know him, go find him at GATA.org and also Metropole Cafe. Those addresses will be in the video. You just said something which, again, is astounding to me. Like there's a lot of folks who listen to you talk, and they might not agree with some of the things that you believe in with respect to the manipulation or some of the theories that you've got. But then you'll throw something in that is the most honest comment I've heard. You said you should have gotten out, but you were afraid of it going higher. Listen, hold on. How many other gold bugs have I ever heard say that? None. Bill, listen, why do people not give you the sort of credence that you deserve? Because that's the kind of comment that I have said, except I said it this way. I was afraid when I was selling that it would move higher. The last time I sold, I looked at my wife at 45.5 on silver, and it had 20 eagles in my hand. I looked at her and said, you know what? I paid for this roughly 1/3 of what they'd give me today. I said, I have to sell this. I mean, this is an opportunity for us to pay our mortgage. And I was still afraid I'd miss the ride. When it comes to comments like you've made, I wonder why it is that people don't give you more credit for that.
Well, I'll leave it to them, but I thank you for the kind words. I appreciate it. And like I say, the next time we speak, I hope I'm jumping up and down rather than explaining something like that. Absolutely.
I will love it. One other thing, I want to give you something that I think will cheer you up a little bit. I recorded a video called Laughing All the Way Down. And there's a lot of folks who, while prices were moving up, were laughing and joking and mocking people that weren't buying. But I will warn everybody who may laugh at me now because I'm buying, or Bill because he has for years, laughing all the way down will be just as dumb as laughing all the way up. Because when this turns, it's not happening today, we don't think. When it turns, a lot of people are going to be standing there thinking they were trying to get the bottom. They're going to miss it. That's the bottom line.
That's right. Good for you, Don, and again, I thank you for thinking of me.
No, I think of you often, Bill. Thanks for being here. Everybody, it's Bill Murphy of GATA, the Metropole Cafe. Go check him out. Bill, always a pleasure. Take care. And I'm going to do my dead level best to hope that next time we talk, silver's above 20, gold's above 1250 or 1300.
And if I might say, finish up this thing, and thanks again, Don. 22 is going to be the key. It takes out 22, it goes ballistic.
All right, Rod. Well, I think it's 25 to 26. We'll talk about that next time.
All right.
All right, Bill. Take care, everybody. It's Bill Murphy of GATA.
Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.